Welcome back to another Flash video tutorial. If you remember from our last video, we created this ugly version of Pac-Man. Um, and pretty much what I'm going to show you today, or in this video, is the pen tool. And if you remember in the last video, if I go to the sub-select tool, click on my little Pac-Man dude, you can see that I can see all the points and the curved points with handles. So I have anchor points, anchor points, anchor points. Anything that's curved has handles to adjust the curve. These are what make up our Pac-Man shape. But there's a way to create these on your own without using the rectangle tool or the oval tool or the polystar tool, and that is with the pen tool. So let's add on to our story, right? So let's say even though Pac-Man's a little ugly, he had a great personality, he got a high score, he ended up getting married to Mrs. Pac-Man, who's like the most beautiful Pac person in the world, and he had a son. And the son's name was Pac-Sun. Well, we're going to create him. So I'm going to go ahead and click new layer. Now I'm going to name this layer Pac-Sun. And I'm going to lock my Pac-Man layer to make sure I'm drawing on the Pac-Sun layer. I'm going to go ahead and select my pen tool. Now a quick idea of how the pen tool works is we're going to be drawing all the anchor points for a shape. So you see I have this X next to my pen tool icon. That's saying when I click now, I'm going to be starting a new shape or a new line. So I'm going to go ahead and click and see that it's dropped a point on the stage. That's where our starting point is. So if I click again, you can see that now these lines have, or sorry, the 2 points have been connected by a line. So if I keep clicking, everywhere I click, it's creating lines together. And when I want to close off my shape, I get a circle saying we've completed the shape. And I click, and now I have a completed shape. Or if I go to the selection tool, you can see, well, you can kind of see already. You can see I have all my points here. Let's say I wanted to create curved lines, right? Well, pretty similar. I'm going to click to start my shape. But now if I want a curved line, I can just click and drag. And as I click and drag, my lines are being, my anchor points are being generated with handles. And now I have curved lines. So I'm just clicking and dragging, bam, now I've got a shape. And now even in my sub-selection tool, I can actually go in and play with these anchor points, play with these handles, and make the shape a little more how I like. I'm going to go ahead and delete this again. I'm going to create a rectangle just for further demonstration. Go to my pen tool, and now we already have a shape. So actually, I don't even need to go to the pen tool. I'm going to go into the add anchor point tool. So right now, I have this square, and let's say I want it to be a house because Pac-Man lives in a house, right? Okay, sure. Add anchor point tool allows me to add another point to this shape. So right now, if I go to the sub-select tool, see I have 1, 2, 3, 4 points. But if I wanted to make a house, there's no point in the middle here to drag up so that I can create a roof. So if I add an anchor point, so add anchor point tool, and the way I got to that was just I left click and held down the button, and I can select any tool here. So pen tools, underneath the pen tool, we have add anchor point tool, letting go of the mouse button, and now I can add a point to my shape, an anchor point. And if I go now underneath my selection tool, I can drag it up. Now I've got a house that looks like a shape. And let's say maybe I wanted some other crazy shape and I wanted some more points to add on. All I gotta do is make sure on my add anchor point tool and click, 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 click. You see these points are popping up all over the place. And now I can drag them around. But I'm gonna go ahead and undo all of that just so I have my 1 point on the roof. And let's say now that I wanted this roof to be curved, right? Well, we need a curved line. And I showed you how to create a curved line before, but we've already created this point. Now what do? Well, we need to convert it. So underneath our pen tool, I'm going to left click and hold. Now we have the convert anchor point tool. So now any point I select, I can click on it and drag, and now you can see I can curve my roof. I can select on an individual handle and move that as well. Or if I just decide, well, I didn't really want it to be curved, I'm going to change it back to being pointy, or just a pointed line, or sorry, a corner, not curved. Not curved, that's what I'm trying to say, not curved. You just click on it, And now you can see I've gone back to my original pointed house. But let's say after some complicated scenarios, I no longer want to have this roof on my house. I just want a box house. I don't want nothing fancy. The neighbors are getting jealous because they're all living in box houses and way too much attention getting drawn to my house. I'm gonna go ahead and go back under my anchor point tool. Sorry, my pen tool. Right now it's convert anchor point tool. They're all underneath pen tool. So I'm gonna click. Oops, I'm gonna click and hold down the mouse button. I'm going to go under delete anchor point tool. And just like the add anchor point tool, it lets us, well, change our anchor points. So in this case, I'm deleting them. So if I click on a line here, nothing's going to happen because it's looking for anchor points. And we already have some anchor points set up. So if I click on them, you can see it goes away. And if I want to get rid of my roof, it's as simple as removing the anchor point. So that's about it for the pen tool and all the options underneath it. Let's go ahead and finish off creating PacSun. So I'm going to start off with my pen tool. I'm going to click once to start the beginning of the mouth. Click again so it's a straight line. I'm going to click back here and click and drag so that I have a curved line. I'm going to click over here and then I'm going to close off the shape. See, now I have PacSun. I haven't given it a color yet, but we'll worry about that in another video. So I have PacSun, but let's say he wants to be like his dad, right? So he wants to be like his dad. Go under the add anchor point tool, add some anchor points to give him little mohawk tumor fins. Go to the sub selection tool, drag it up, bam. Now he kind of looks like his dad. But he's done going through this phase and wanting to be like dad. He's moving on to high school and he wants to be his own person. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those anchor points by going to the delete anchor point tool. I'm going to click on these anchor points to remove them. And now he's kind of starting to look like he did before, but now he's a little flat. Let's go ahead and change him back to his fat self that he was before. We go to the convert anchor point tool and then click and drag on this one point, and now you can see he's fat again because I redid this line. I made it curvier, made it bigger. All I did was click and drag. So that's about it for Pac-Man and PacSun and the pen tool. Just to organize things, I'm going to go ahead and add a new folder. Call it Pac Family. And I'm going to drag PacSun and Pac-Man under Pac Family because, well, they're in the Pac family. And that's pretty much it for the pen tool and our super awesome story about the Pac family. We'll continue on in the next video.